Right, so we are about to finish The Gold Threaded Dress by Carolyn Marston. Remember, we left off, Oi just slipped her pink dress into her backpack. So let's find out what happens. Chapter 9. During silent reading the next day, Oi wrote a note. I have it. She asked Frankie to hand the paper to Liliandra. He opened the note instead. Have what? He asked loudly. Must be something from China, he said over his shoulder to Liliandra. Oi watched Liliandra's eyes widen as Frankie gave her the slip of paper. What's going on? Miss Elsa asked. Oh, nothing. My book is just boring, Frankie answered. Then get another, Miss Elsa said. Frankie winked at Oi as he went to the bookshelf. She felt like winking back. Frankie had protected her. That was lucky. She could hardly imagine what her parents would do if she got into trouble at school. Where is it? Liliandra wanted to know when they got out for recess. Right here, in my pack. Liliandra picked up the backpack, unzipped it, and lifted out the plastic bag with the dress inside. When the sun hit the golden threads running through the pink silk, Liliandra and the other girls gasped. Dozens of fingers reached out to touch the glittery material. Wait, Oi said. Liliandra promised that only she would try it on. But no one heard because Liliandra was bearing the dress away toward the clubhouse. You can come too this time, Olivia, she called back over her shoulder. Oi stood at the edge of the clubhouse. The tiny spot was packed with girls, and Liliandra was in the middle, pulling the dress over her jeans. Oh, if Kung Ya only knew. It's tearing, someone said, but Liliandra kept going until she had the tight skirt on. Oi felt as though she were in a nightmare, where she tried to reach out, to speak, to run, but was paralyzed. Marissa was unwinding the inner sash of the dress. What's this for? A belt? Hedgeski asked. Oi recalled Kung Ya's fingers tenderly wrapping the silk across her shoulder. Then where's the top? Where's the jewelry? Liliandra called. You didn't say anything about jewelry. Oi found herself answering as though from deep inside the dream. But it's not the same without the little crown. You look pretty enough anyway, said Kelly Marie, but not as pretty as Oi did in her picture, said Marissa. Oi thought of herself smiling in the picture. She remembered Ya stepping backward away from her in the backyard, lining her face up in the viewfinder. The camera had clicked, and Kung Ya had whispered, Oh, my beloved beauty. I want to put the dress on now, Hedgeski said. Not yet, said Liliandra. It doesn't look right with the clothes on underneath. She wiggled out of the dress and then took off her jeans and shirt and put the skirt back on. She wrapped the sashes around her shoulders. Better. Oi knew exactly how the silk, scratchy with the gold embroidery, felt against bare skin. She wanted to grab the dress away from all of them and run someplace far away. Now me, said Hedgeski. But you've got blonde hair, said Kelly Marie. No way you will look good in that. Let me. Oi watched as Liliandra unwrapped the sashes and handed them to Hedgeski. If the dress had already torn, it would tear even more after big-boned Hedgeski forced her way into it. As Liliandra began to put on her clothes, Hedgeski slipped out of hers. Other girls began taking off their clothes too, standing in the stripped shadow of the climber in only their underwear. Just then, the bell rang. Everyone giggled and shrieked. Quick, give it to me, squealed Kelly Marie. Oi heard a ripping noise. She looked away. Hearing was bad enough. She couldn't bear to see the fragile silk tear. What's all the commotion about? What's going on here? The playground monitor bent down to look under the climber. Oh my stars, what happened to your clothes? Hedgeski blushed and covered herself with a narrow skirt. The principal, Mrs. Cervantes, had extra chairs brought in so that all the girls could sit in a long row in front of her. And now, would someone please tell me what was going on behind the climber? No one said a thing. Oi's heart thudded inside her chest. If Kung Mer or Kung Pa could see her now, not just wasting time in school, but in deep trouble as well. Olivia Chasing, maybe you can explain. Mrs. Cervantes looked over the top of her reading glasses. It was my dress. They all wanted to try it on. Oi spread her damp hands flat on the knees of her blue jeans. And is the playground a dressing room? No, ma'am. You girls know you can't be in just underwear on the playground. Mrs. Cervantes looked at them one by one. Some girls hung their heads. Others glanced away when the principal's eyes came to their faces. I need to notify your parents about this, starting with Olivia. Evidently, Mrs. Cervantes said, taking a pad of paper out of a drawer. Although you were fully dressed, you instigated the situation by bringing a fancy dress to school. Oh, Oy said. She rose a little from her chair. Her parents could never know about this. My mother doesn't understand English. And your father? He's working now, cooking. This is a busy time in the restaurant, right before lunch. Then I'll write a note. Miss Elsa tells me you're a good student, and I'm sure you'll do a fair job of translating. Please bring me a note back with your father's signature. That's easy for you, Hedgesky whispered later to Oy as they gathered for circle time. You can tell your mom the note says anything, like they're going to give you a special award or something. Yeah, said Marissa. She left a message on my parents' answering machine. I'm going to be restricted for life. When the last bell rang, Oy went to her cubby and retrieved the dirty bundle that only that morning had been her tie dancing dress. In her pocket, she carried Mrs. Cervantes' note. She'd unfolded it many times and had read the harsh black and white words. It said that she, Olivia Chasing, had taken part in inappropriate behavior on the playground. Not only that, she had provoked it. She'd looked up provoked in the dictionary. It meant to stir up. By bringing the dress, she had caused the girls to get into trouble. So what happened on the playground with with Oy's dress? Why does Oy get blamed, even though bringing the dress was Liliandra's idea? What do you think is going to happen when Oy tells her parents? So I want you to think about that. Take a minute and write some thoughts in the Google form. What happened on the playground with Oy's dress? Why does Oy get blamed even though it was Liliandra's idea to bring the dress? And what do you think is going to happen when Oy tells her parents?